Welcome to the Man360 podcast.
So welcome again to the Man360 podcast. My name is Brian. I'm your host. And we always want to encourage you to go to our Man360.tv website. You can go to Facebook, Instagram, all the ways to connect with us. And you can click on the podcast tab actually on our website. And today I want to sit down and have a chat with Mark MacGregor. Mark, it is good to see you again.
Nice to be here.
I know. Now, why am I saying again? Yeah, is because you were already on the program in one of our previous seasons for Man360, and we'll put that information link to the program on YouTube so everybody can find that as well. Kind of give a little more, idea who you are and what you do. I feel like it was a really powerful testimony in some of the things that you shared previously. So, maybe for men again that are listening that don't know who you are, maybe share a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, I am just a dad. I tell you.
There we go. The highest calling, right?
I know. You get into being a dad and you don't. If you knew what you were about to get into, I'm not sure we'd all say, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So there's a reason God doesn't let us see too far into the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was, I'm obviously a husband. I have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. Mm-hmm. And it's been an adventure. It's been a real ride. I'm starting a project where I'm wanting to help dads connect with their daughters. But the reason I was on the show before was issues that we had with my son. And one of the things that I talked about when I was on before was the issue that I had with him we'd gone through some very traumatic things, and I won't get into details as well. But
and they can watch the programs.
If they want to, that'd be great to get the backstory on this.
Sure.
But it is an interesting thing that happened because it was a real turning point. You have some pivotal things that happen in your life as a parent that are just, okay, if everything after that day, and this was one of those, he had gotten to the point where he just really he just couldn't stand me. And I had hurt him. I had really hurt him. My responses to some trauma that he had been through were just so, I think they were actually pretty cookie cutter. I think my responses were what probably most dads do. I fell into this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it ended up being a control thing as to what I felt like he needed to do in response to his own trauma. And I got to the point where I had alienated him, and he just shut me out completely. And we went through this. We had a meeting with a counselor because he wouldn't talk to us. He wouldn't be in the same room with us, but he actually we managed to get him to at least call in on a conference call. Yeah. And at the end of the conference call, it was so bitter, and I said, I just asked him, I said, what did I do? What did I do to make you just hate me so much?
Yeah.
And he looked at me and goes, you don't know me. And he goes, you remember the time that you gave my brother a motorcycle for Christmas? You gave my sister this wonderful dollhouse, and she loved it. These wonderful gifts that they loved. You gave me a canoe. And I said, yeah, I remember doing that. And he goes, we didn't live on the water. Why would I want a canoe? He said, you just don't know me. I'm done with you. Bye. Click. And he hung up. That was the end of it.
Wow.
And I looked at the counselor who was sitting there, and I thought, all right, so I asked him what I did wrong, and he comes up with, you gave me a canoe? What the heck? And I really just was completely just floored by his response, and his so final. His final comment to me was, "I'm done." I could tell he's really just had it with me. I went home and really tried to figure out, okay, how do I react to this? How do I respond to this? And the next morning I was texting him, and I just wanted to apologize for giving him a canoe. I tried to put this whole text out about how I'm just not good at gifts. And I think that something's going to be awesome. And the person getting it, my wife, I've never given her a present. She hasn't looked at it and said, did you keep the receipt? So, I really am legitimately not very good.
Mark MacGregor, the gift card.
Yeah, right.
Give what you want.
Exactly. Great. But I was apologizing for the giving him this canoe thing, and I went back and I read the text before I sent it, and I was looking over it, and I realized, wait a minute, Mark, the Lord, and this is something, I really believe God just opened this canoe for me. I looked at it and I was apologizing I'm sorry for giving you this canoe, and I realized, wait a minute, I'm not sorry for giving him the canoe. I'm really not. I'm apologizing for something I'm not sorry for.
Yeah.
And so I went back and I started rewriting it. I said, wait a minute, I'm not sorry for giving you the canoe. I went to the dump and this guy's throwing this canoe away, and I thought, that's pretty cool. I asked him, can I have it? And he said, sure. So I took it home and I fixed it up for you, and I painted it. I did everything I could do to make it really cool. And I gave it to you for Christmas. And you didn't like it. I get it, but I'm not sorry for giving it to you. But what I do apologize for, and I beg your forgiveness, is that I raised you in a family where you weren't allowed to tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had no voice. If you had ever said, I don't want it, or I don't like it, or I'm sorry that Dad, really anything negative at all, I would have made it all about me. I would have shut you down and called you spoiled. And I'm really sorry, son, that I did that to you, that I raised you in a family where you didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
And I sent the text. And anyway, about half an hour later, and this is from a kid that never called me. I mean, if he did,
never initiated from his end.
Never.
Yeah.
And if it was a text, it was vicious. So so suddenly a half hour later, the phone rang, and he said, Dad, I wanted to call you. We're making progress. I wanted to call you before you changed. I was so worried. He gave me about 10 minutes. That's changed her back to the old dad. Yeah. But anyway, that was a pivotal moment in our world. Ever since then, our relationship has just been so incredible. It's really been something. But I had to realize the fact that where I was wrong in that, and his need for me to just see him, just to know him. Yeah. That's what he wanted. That was what he was craving.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, because it's like even the relationship that you have as a dad to your daughter compared to your sons, right? I mean, there's always going to be those nuances. And I don't know, it seems like too, like I know in our family, like I was always closer to my mom and my dad was always closer to my sister. And I don't know why that would just naturally happen that way. And then we each knew our parent, very well. With my sister and I would talk, and even, with my dad's passing and stuff, my sister and I were remembering stories, and I was remembering them from different perspectives, her perspective, my perspective. But I feel like even with what you're working on now, in really trying to be intentional and not have to go through another canoe incident, essentially, right, with your daughter. And I think that was the reason why when you mentioned it, we were talking a little bit about it. I thought it was so important to share with the men about Notice Me, not US, but .us, right? To Notice Me.us and us, just to share a little bit about the heart behind it. And even, again, this is geared towards your daughter, right? Towards daughters. And maybe share, I know there's another story that you had when you took a trip to Bozeman that you actually shared a little bit on the website, but just share a little bit about where this idea came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's kind of parallels in some ways. And, really what it boils down to is allowing our children to understand that we love them just the way they are, and we're not very good at that as parents. Yeah. My wife's a flight attendant, so we fly anywhere in the world for free. And my daughter was about 13 years old, and I was thinking, man, I need to do something with her. And so I just went in and I asked her, I said, if you could go anywhere, where'd you go? And I said, let's go on a trip. And so I said, I'll be back in a few minutes. You tell me where you want to go. And so half an hour later, whatever, I went back into her room, and I'm thinking, she doesn't say New York or Paris or someplace with some huge city where I just hate. I said, I'd love to. I hope she wants to go to some kind of quiet West. Anyway, I was hoping for Montana. I really was. And I went in and I said, so where do you want to go? And she said, I've been looking at it, and I think I want to go to Bozeman, Montana. And I was like, oh, yes. I'm so weird that I really wanted. Oh, yeah. And so I really wanted to go.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, so I said, all right, we're going to go. So the next Saturday, we decided we're going to fly out Saturday morning. We'll fly back Sunday night. So we literally flew out to Bozeman for the weekend. And we're out there, and I have pictures of this on the website. We were just driving through the backcountry and we're trying to find a place to hike. And then we were walking down the road, and she said, "Look, Dad." She was about 20 feet in front of me. And she was doing this handstand that she'd been working on. She wanted me to see it. And it was great. I was, okay, cool. I took her picture and everything. Anyway, when we got home, I was looking through all the pictures that I'd taken and all the memories of the trip. Yeah, exactly. And I looked at that shot and I'm realizing, all right, this was a great trip. It was really fun. I'm glad we did it. But what was important to her? And I realized in that handstand moment, she just really wanted to do something special so that I would see her. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, all right, so we went all the way out to Bozeman, Montana, and all she really cared about was, do you see me, Dad? Do you really notice me?
Right.
And that was what she was really interested in. It's just me seeing her. Mm-hmm. And what I started to think about it, said, okay, she's 13, and right now she's doing a handstand to get my attention.
Yeah.
What's she going to be doing when she's 15 or 16 or 18 or 20 to get my attention if I'm not giving it to her? If she's
not thinking that you see her.
Yeah. If she doesn't think I see her, if she doesn't think I notice her,
right?
Where's this going? Mm-hmm. It's that she's not that doing a handstand is a bad thing, but she felt like she needed to do that to get my attention. And I'm thinking, what can I do in my world, in her world, to let her realize I do see you, I do notice you. Matter of fact, I think about you 24/7. Everything I do is about my kids and the job I have. My marriage to your mother. Yeah. It's all about you guys. Yeah. But she didn't necessarily know that, and it just scared me. I realized I don't think she thinks that I see her. I really don't. Mm-hmm. And that's started coming up with, I had this idea, and I thought, you know what? I think this actually is something that would make sense. And I came up with the idea and I'm calling it Notice Me .us. And what I'm wanting to do is encourage dads, and I do this myself with her. I write her a letter to send your daughter a note once a month. And I've made this a subscription model that a guy can sign up for, and I will literally send him a card that he will in turn address himself, write the card, and mail it to his daughter.
It's already it's already stamped.
It's already stamped. I got a stamp on there.
Is write it.
They have no excuses.
Send it off.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about, just handwriting. The whole art of letter writing is really gotten lost. And when we think that all the texting and all the ways that we videotape on phones and all these things, but when we're gone, what legacy have we really left? And when I go through letters from my parents and writings and things like that they've sent, and that just means so much. Well, our generation's just is really losing that as a form of legacy, really, if you will. Anyway, so what I want to do is encourage dads to send their daughter a handwritten note that's purposeful, and it tells her, even if all he did was sign it, "I love you, Dad," or "was thinking about you," she knows he took 10 minutes out of his life, put down his phone, put down the TV, quit thinking about whatever else he was thinking about and just thought about me. Yeah. What he says in the letter, what we say in the letter matters, but it's not the main thing is that we're doing it. And there's a part, and I started doing this with my daughter, and there's a part of me that was a little bit vulnerable. I thought, what if she doesn't like getting it? What if she thinks it's weird? And I'm realizing, all right, as a dad, I need to exercise that muscle, because women live in this emotional world where they're just much stronger emotionally than we are. Men don't want to be vulnerable.
No.
And this helps to exercise that muscle for a dad.
Yeah.
take the risk, send your daughter a note, do something that she's going to think maybe a little bit, it'll catch her off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing that I believe will start to build a foundation, a history, a communication level with a dad and a daughter that that they don't have right now.
I think it's also important to, you were talking about texting versus, handwritten. I feel like it's the intentionality behind it, right? It's not the fact of because it's still communication, right? If you send a text, guys, if you send a text, please be communicating with your kids.
Like,
I mean, on some level, do that.
Please do that. Yeah.
And I think too, the reason why, and I wanted to ask you this question too, Mark, is what about dads that feel like they're not good at writing notes? Or, and I think you said something really important there, is maybe there's an atrophied part of their personality or their life where they just haven't exercised that muscle. So they're like, well, I'm not good at that. Well, you're not good at that because you don't do that, right? Like we're talking about health and working out and being healthy or whatever. It's like the reason why you're unhealthy or you're weak is that you don't exercise those muscles that are not strong. So for a guy, again, that doesn't really, maybe it's like, I don't really do that. Like, that's just not my personality. What would you say to them where they're just not good at that?
Well, to me, that's actually part of the beauty of it. I'll get teary. Yeah. She gets a card from a dad who's a really bad speller or has really bad handwriting. And she, she's 20 years later showing this to her kids. Like, your grandpa had terrible handwriting. Look at his handwriting. By the way, Joey, you got grandpa's handwriting. And
you're TV is a doctor.
Exactly. My dad had what we called it. His handwriting was so bad. He would do the first letter and just scriggly lines after that.
So you had to guess from the first letter what the word.
We call it auto writing. Or dad, here's his auto. And it's really funny because my oldest son has the same exact handwriting.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
I have a friend. Handwriting is so unique and so special. I have a friend that his father was. He died when he was 14. His dad was abusive. It was a pretty. They ended it well, and he loved his father, but his dad died when he was 14. And when he was in his early 20s, he was going through letters, and he found this form that his dad had filled out. His dad was kind of an absentee dad, wasn't around a lot, but he found this form, and his dad was the one thing he was really good at was coaching him in baseball. He had filled out this form to enter my friend in Little League, and he had signed it with his name. He took that signature and turned it into a tattoo that he put on his chest.
Oh, that's cool.
His dad's handwriting meant so much to him that he tattooed it on his chest. That's awesome. He's told me about it. I've never actually seen it either. I wanted to see his head, but I think it's inside of baseball. Yeah. But the point is that there's something about handwriting that connects us. Yeah. And people have suggested to me, well, you can get AI to do this. You can, they could just text you and the AI could write it for them. And they're like, so fine, you get AI to imitate some guy's handwriting. Right. So is he supposed to lie to his daughter and tell her I wrote it when he didn't? I mean, the whole point of this is authenticity between dad and daughter. Yeah. And I would encourage dads, especially dads that aren't good at it.
It's like maybe say, oh, this is for me specifically because I'm not communicating with my kid. Well, I remember I was in Royal Rangers, so it was kind of like Christian Boy Scouts I was raised as Assemblies of God. And I'd totally forgotten about this, but when my dad passed away, I found a letter in some of his stuff that apparently it was in something that he had given me, but my mom had taken it back and put it kind of, not a baby book, but kind of took it back. Yeah. And it was like this whole thing that where we were up in the mountains. And so the dad was supposed to write a letter to their kid and talk about what they've meant to him. And I still have that letter. It just talks about how proud my dad was of me and just all the different things in my life, and my dad always told me that he was proud of me.
Crazy. That's good.
It was awesome. And it was still in the envelope, the old school envelopes were a little bit different, little sharper edges and stuff. It was a smaller form factor and it had my name on the front of it and it just had the edge of it ripped open and it was on, it was a full letter. It wasn't like just 3 sentences. But I just remember that it was like, again, it's just something they're like legacy pieces that you're really passing on and giving to your kids to be able to mean something. So Mark, talk a little bit real quick about how people can subscribe. Okay. Obviously we mentioned the website, but what's a couple of those models as we wrap up?
It's real simple. Yeah. It's, I think they can get in the description of this show and we'll take them straight there. It's just it's a straight subscription model. They can either sign up for 1 year, renews automatically unless they cancel. Yep. monthly, same way. The 1 year, I think, is $10 a month, equals $10 a month. The monthly is like 12. But it's very simple. They sign up. We send them a card each month. They're the beautiful cards that we've done, and all they need to do is take the first step, do that, and it will get easier. I started this with my daughter. And the first one is like taking a rusty.
That's like the biggest guy selling point. It's like, it will get easier, guys. Don't worry about it.
I told my wife, it's like taking a rusty bicycle out of the shed and trying to ride it. It's like, I don't know. But the second time it was better, and the more I've written letters to her, the better I've gotten at it. That's awesome. And it's really been a connection that I know it's very real.
That's awesome. Yeah. So guys, we just really encourage you, again, my conversation with Mark, it's important that we're doing something to connect with our kids. Obviously, this is something that, maybe you're like, I don't know if I should do it or not. Try it for a year. Try it and just see, and sign up for a year and just see if it's something that really can fit into your schedule. It may not be for everybody, but I do think specifically for guys, again, that are maybe are a little more difficult or have that issue maybe with like, it just as a reminder. I feel like it's a good part that way too. Even if you're like, I'm going to send my kid a text, I'm going to send a reminder, but I really feel like it's important to do that. So Mark, thanks for being on the podcast. Yeah, it's been
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
This has really been nice. I appreciate it.
It's been a good time.
Yeah.
So thank you again for watching and listening here to the Man360 podcast. Again, I'm your host, Brian. Always go to man360.tv. You'll see the podcast page under the additional content area of the website. You can click on Mark's. We'll have all the information about Mark in our conversation today. I'll have a link again to his program when he was on Man360 a previous season. And again, Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.